We tend to treat generosity as a single slider. If someone donates to a charity, we assume they're equally likely to hold a door open or help you pick up dropped groceries. To test if that assumption holds up, researchers looked at the Global Flourishing Study, mapping the behaviors of over 200,000 individuals across 22 culturally distinct countries. Instead of measuring a vague sense of prosociality, the researchers split generosity into two distinct measurable actions: donating money to a charity in the past month versus physically helping a stranger in the past month. This chart plots 22 countries. Charitable giving is the horizontal axis, helping strangers is the vertical. The data reveals a messy reality with only moderate correlation. At the extremes, populations likely to open their wallets are frequently least likely to offer time, and vice versa. To encourage a more supportive world, we need to stop viewing generosity as a fixed personality trait. We have to look at why giving money and giving time pull populations in entirely opposite directions. The clearest way to see what drives these behaviors is to zoom in from national averages down to the demographics of individual humans. Take the biological process of aging. As we get older, do we become more generous or less? This graph charts that relationship. As age increases on the horizontal axis, financial charity, shown by this teal line, steadily climbs, hitting a peak of 59% for those 80 and older. But physical assistance drops to 48%. The purple line moves in the exact opposite direction. This split makes logistical sense. Older populations often accumulate greater financial stability and disposable income, but they also face increasing physical limitations and naturally shrinking social networks that limit their daily contact with strangers. There are rare exceptions in the data. Acquiring higher education and attending frequent religious services consistently boost both forms of pro-social behavior across all demographics. But mostly, giving time and giving money are entirely different expressions of good. They are bound by distinct physical and economic realities, making them accessible to different people at very different stages of life. Zooming back out to the national level, we can test another major assumption. It's logical to guess that the wealthiest nations have the capacity to help the most. The data proves that wrong, with Japan serving as the prime anomaly. Despite ranking third in GDP within the study, Japan sits at the absolute bottom for both giving money at 10% and helping strangers at 11%. Meanwhile, the actual global leaders are nations with significantly lower GDPs. Indonesia tops the chart for financial giving at 79%, and Nigeria completely dominates physical helping at 83%. Researchers point to social origins theory to explain this disconnect between national wealth and individual generosity. According to this framework, a nation's pro-social behavior is heavily dictated by the size of its government and the scope of its institutions. In liberal democracies like the United States and the UK, the state provides a smaller social safety net. This creates a gap in services, generating a massive cultural expectation for private citizens and charitable organizations to donate money and fill that void. Strong statist or welfare states like Japan and Poland take the opposite approach. They provide for citizens' basic needs through taxation. Because the state handles social welfare, the cultural expectation for private financial charity or informal stranger-to-stranger assistance drops significantly. Then there is the variable of culture and religion. In Indonesia, Islamic traditions like zakat, the mandatory giving of a portion of wealth to those in need, drive massive financial donation rates, operating entirely independent of the state's welfare structure. A country's position on these generosity rankings is not a measure of its citizens' inherent morality. It is a highly logical reaction to the government structures and cultural networks that they navigate every day. This requires us to reframe our baseline assumptions. A citizen who rarely helps a stranger isn't inherently uncaring, and a nation with low charity rates isn't selfish. Their expressions of good are simply routed through the pathways available to them. For policymakers and nonprofits, the data provides a clear warning. Demanding the wrong type of generosity from the wrong demographic is a guaranteed path to failure. Instead of pressuring lower-income communities or developing nations for costly financial donations that they cannot support, institutions need to identify, protect, and empower the robust, direct helping networks those communities already rely on. Conversely, instead of expecting aging populations to provide physical labor or volunteer hours, societies should build frictionless, secure pathways designed specifically to capture their naturally rising financial giving. Prosociality is a massive global infrastructure, pieced together through the time, money, and habits of billions of people. To build it properly, we just have to learn which tools to use where.